Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila. I'm here with Clara the Avila, and
Yes.
we're here to discuss buttholes.
Yep.
So, what's your favorite butthole, Clara?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, top 5 buttholes, go.
No, this isn't a thing that we're doing right now.
This is a butthole podcast, right?
No.
Oh.
We're trying to see who is the butthole.
Who has the best butthole, right?
No, that's not at all what we're doing.
Okay. Who do you think has the best butthole?
Nathaniel, let's just get to the posts.
Okay, so first one. AITA for letting my kids disturb my husband during an important work meeting after he said he would handle them for the day to prove how easy my job is.
Okay.
It's another one of these guys.
Oh, boy. All right, let's hear it.
I'm 31 female and my husband is 36 male. We have 2 boys, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. My husband works in an office and he has the option to work a few days a week from home, but he prefers not to because he says it's easier to focus in the office. I run a small business from home. I don't have a lot of daily work, just some emails and planning, maybe 3 hours a day. But the business does make about a third of our household income. But my younger son is home all day, and just dealing with him takes a lot of energy. He's really high energy and will probably wreck something if you leave him alone for an hour. And when the older one comes home at 3, and both of them are with me until 8 or 9, which is when my husband usually comes home. A few days ago, I was really tired and I didn't make dinner. When my husband came home, I asked if we could just order something. So he was also tired and we were both short-tempered, so we ended up snapping at each other. He said I should have at least ordered before he got home and he was hungry. I said I forgot and it's not fair that food is always my problem. He said that I'm home all day and I even admit I don't have much work to do, so I'm basically a Sam, which means stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
And should at least take care of dinner. I said he has no idea how much I do every day, and he said he'd handle the kids for an entire day while also working from home just to prove it should be easy for me. I said sure. So we made the arrangements to work from home yesterday. I slept in and then I woke up and he was already frazzled from getting the older one ready for school. He ended up having to cancel a meeting to make breakfast, and was worried about that. Then, when he took another meeting later on, the boys went out to play in the yard and got super muddy and left footprints all over the house. Shouldn't they be in school?
Maybe it was when they came back from school.
Okay. By this point, I did feel sort of guilty because it was definitely harder for him to take care of work and take care of work at the same time. But all I wanted was apology. He said he was doing this to show that I had to do nothing all day, and if he just admitted he was wrong, I would have helped out straight away. Later on, he had another meeting, and he told the boys not to bother him for an hour. But about 20 minutes in, they got in an argument about something, and our younger one went into my husband's room to complain. He was really loud, and my husband's video was also on. Then he told the kids to leave him alone, but he was upset and crying and wasn't listening. After a few minutes, my husband went back to the meeting and apologized to the other people. When it was finished, he was really angry at me. He said I could see what was happening and just watched him struggle without helping. I said all you had to do was say please, help. He said I shouldn't be so petty and prideful. This probably made him look a bit stupid in front of his manager, but it was only a few minutes and I didn't think it was a huge deal he made it out to be. What do you think?
I mean, he literally just proved that it is not easy work.
Right, I mean, he made his bed and now he has to lay in it.
Now he has to lie in it.
And that's what happens. Like, it's not easy being green and also a mom. It's also not easy being a green mom. Who plants green and smokes that green.
Stop it right now. Nope. I've got a cat in my hands. Can't high five you.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's the butthole for sure.
Nope, definitely not. That's entirely your own fault.
Yeah, that was his fault. He did it to himself to prove that it was easy, and then when it proved it wasn't easy, his male ego wouldn't let him admit that he's wrong.
Yep.
And
then it has to be her fault because she didn't help because she saw that he was struggling. But like, you literally said, I'm gonna prove to you that it shouldn't be so hard to take care of the kids and whatever else it is you're doing. I could do that and do a whole day's worth of work from home. Clearly not.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had just said, I'm so sorry, you're right, this is really hard work. Could you please help me with the kids? Bing, bang, bomb, I don't know.
Can you remember? Yeah, do you remember when, like, your work day ended at 3?
No.
What?
I don't remember.
It was
too long ago.
Our school days when you would finish work at 3.
It was too long ago.
Well, then again, it did end at 3 because we had like a pile of homework.
Yeah, I have a pile of homework. You come home, you do like, what, 5 hours worth of homework?
5 like homework, study for like
Study
10
for
tests for
tests.
different subjects, 5 different subjects, and then projects for a couple different subjects, and then also research papers,
and whatever else it is.
So I guess it wasn't that big of a deal. Because usually when we're at work, it's just like you clock off and don't have to deal with it anymore because legally you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not the butthole.
Not the butthole.
Not the butthole. Sir, may this be a lesson to you.
Yep. Your wife does tough work.
Yeah. Also, don't be too embarrassed that your colleagues saw your kids doing that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, oh no, he's a dad. Oh. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. AITA for skipping my friend's birthday without a warning because his girlfriend calls me the typical GBF?
Oh, gay best friend.
Gay best friend, okay. Is he actually gay or is he not?
I don't know. I guess we're going to find out.
Okay. So, Miles and I have known each other since we were 2 because our parents are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would not say Miles is my best friend, but he is a good friend and we do hang out on occasion, but see each other in major holidays because of our parents.
Yep.
We are in our early 20s. The problem started because of a dumb childhood memory. When we were 8, we had a wedding play in school aftercare. I played the bride and Miles played the groom. It was a play with horrible songs and uncoordinated kids. Our parents made pictures and videos of that, and we each have one picture in our family picture walls. Miles is dating Lindy. They met 3 years ago and started dating last year. Lindy does not like me, so every time we coincide at a celebration, she makes a comment about me being a typical girl best friend.
Girl best friend. Usually GBF means gay best friend. So
I was going to say, like I'm surprised this is a very forward-thinking school play to allow a boy to play a bride. It's very forward-thinking.
Forward-thinking.
It is very forward-thinking. Very progressive.
Very forward thinking.
It's a very progressive school.
Very forward thinking. Continue.
So I had no clue that she got that impression from Miles, and I have a different friend groups and schedules besides the monthly catch up over food. We didn't really meet that much. Things got worse when Lindy saw the wedding day picture. The comments got more, and then she never finished, and then she just ended the sentence there.
The comments got more.
She even started DMing me on Instagram saying she knew what game I was playing.
What?
I talked to Miles about this once. She told me to give her time. So his birthday was on Saturday and I was invited. Lindy wrote me saying something along the lines of, she was going to surprise me. This was their first birthday as a couple, and I was not allowed to take up his time. I was honestly just fed up. I tried talking to Miles once more, but he said the same thing. So I just skipped out. The party started, I wrote a quick sorry I can't come and told him my mother was going to bring his present. Now he is upset with me for missing his birthday. Lindy is mad that I made it all about myself, and my parents are upset I missed a quote-unquote family function. So what do you think?
I'll see you after the function.
What do you think, Clara?
Jealous girlfriend. Not your fault.
It's not her fault, and they're not like best friends. They're not like...
Yeah. They're family friends.
They're not like...
they're good friends.
Yeah, they're not like Lee and Elle in like the kissing booth or whatever.
What? Why is that the comparison? Whatever.
Because they're not like them, because
Yes.
they're like super tight.
Yes.
But these people, they're not super tight. They're like
No.
the opposite of super tight.
Yeah.
So it looks like I don't think it's not a big deal that you skipped out, because like, I mean, you're not like super close friends, and you're in an awkward position, and you don't want to be in like a like in that position where you're like feeling really bad and stuff. And why would you want to be around somebody who hates your guts? And
Right?
I'm like, she's like, this guy, I'm not even like that close of friends with this guy. Why do I have to deal with this? So I don't think you're in the wrong here.
No.
And your mom might be kind of misconstruing it because it's not a family function.
Technically not.
It's not a family function. It's just
when you're family friends, it's like
it's just your
they're
mom's.
like family.
It's just your mom's close friend's kid's birthday.
Well, let's not forget they are still good friends.
They're kind of ish friends.
She said that they were good friends.
They were still good friends, yeah, but they weren't like super close.
But they're not best
They
friends
just hang
anymore.
out once a month.
They hang out on occasion.
Yes, and he invited him to his party, which makes sense.
And then the thing is that when the girlfriend is like messaging, being like, "I know what your deal is. Blah, 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 blah. I know that you actually want to be with my boyfriend." It's like, girl,
Yeah, and it kind of makes me feel like she kind of has her claws
Yeah.
on him a little bit, and he's all like, "Oh, it's okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine."
It's not.
And it's not. And it's also very nice of her to leave a note. I think that's
Yeah, at
very
least
considerate.
She said something and sent over the birthday present.
So not a butthole.
Not a butthole.
We have an update.
Ooh, an update.
I don't show anyone the messages because I didn't want to make it more out of this than it is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to poison anyone against Lindy, especially not if is this new fixture in Miles' life. That would make both of our lives more difficult. I hope that just talking about it might be a bit more adult thing, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are not mad at me for blowing up my phone a la Reddit fashion. They and Miles' parents were just bummed out that this is my first birthday that I ever missed. As to why she is jealous, I have no idea. Neither of our parents ever wanted us to get together. There were no jokes about anything about it. I think they also never would want that. The wedding day play picture is in the living rooms because they loved the picture and it was our first play. So what do you think?
I mean, do you really want someone who will send you messages like that to be to be a fixture in your friend's life? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I would say something about it.
Do you think it's your place to say something like that?
Do I think it's my place to say, hey, your girlfriend is sending me some pretty, like, rude messages?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be my place because it's happening to me.
She's calling me a harlot. And
She's saying I'm a typical girl best friend. I'm not sure what that means.
whatever that means.
But I think it's like one of those girls that it's like, oh my gosh. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. But it's like one of those girls that's like, she's like the best friend, but she clearly wants to be with the best friend.
Mm.
But like that doesn't seem to be like the case here.
Right. Men and women can't be friends.
Ugh.
They always want to bone each other.
Oh my gosh.
I watched When Harry Met Sally, and that's the lesson that I learned. Remember that scene where she orgasmed in the restaurant?
Stop it right now.
It's a famous scene.
I know it's a famous scene, but that's off topic.
I'll have what she's having.
What does Reddit say?
Well, Reddit says that I will have what Reddit's having.
No.
And so, Nata, Miles's gif is insanely insecure and jealous of you. You've tried talking to Miles about it, and he won't do anything about it. You're basically getting threatening messages from her at this point. Of course you don't want to be around her. Your parents should understand that their relationship with Miles's parents is just that. Their relationship. It's not a family function, whatever they wish it to be. The onus shouldn't fall on you to maintain a friendship with Miles if it isn't working out for you under the current circumstances. I do hope you two can work things out since you've been friends for so long, but you don't have to if it doesn't work out for you, and you don't need to feel guilty about it. I don't think her problem is with Miles. It's obviously with Lindy. But Lindy and Miles are a package deal right now. So she might need to keep her distance until either Lindy's out of the picture. Or if she stays in the picture, then I guess no more Miles.
Then I guess that's how it is.
Mm-hmm. Edited to add. OP refers to Miles as a quote-unquote friend throughout and uses quotes when she writes, quote, family function at the end of her post, and said they see each other on holidays, etc., quote, because of their parents. This leads me to think that OP does not consider Miles' family nor his birthday a family function herself. She also thinks about how the parents consider this a family unit. She never said that she considered them a family unit. It is the reason for my last paragraph. Context matters. I'm not suggesting that family has to be related by blood. I love my family of choice. No one should be coerced to maintain a relationship that doesn't work for them. Yes. Yes. Typical Redditor.
Okay.
Next person. You've known Miles for 20 plus years, and his family is close with your family. You're not being at his party was noticed, and you're taking all the blame for Lindy's actions and insecurities. Screenshot her messages to you and send them to your parents, and then put it on record. You're not attending was at Lindy's jealous behest. Nata, but seriously, if your parents expect your involvement, they need to know the truth of why you weren't there. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess
so, yeah.
Nata! He can't have his cake and eat it, as in he can't refuse to do something about the problem and then get mad at you for doing something about the problem. I don't think he's mad at her for that. I think he's just bummed that she's not at her birthday.
Yeah.
I understand why you wouldn't want to go. I'd probably do the same. His girlfriend doesn't seem worth the mental energy, and she's clearly got insecurities that you shouldn't have to deal with. So, yeah.
Yep. Thoughts? I agree. All sounds correct.
All right. Well, not the butthole.
Not the butthole.
Moving on.
Did we read the comments from the previous one?
I don't remember.
The very first one that we did? Well.
Okay. AITA for secretly eating takeout food my pregnant wife cannot eat because she has gestational diabetes.
Fantastic. Okay.
Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, let's buckle up. So my wife, 34 female, and I, 35 male, have been married for 10 years, and we've been together for 15. She is 7 months pregnant and has gestational diabetes, which has been very hard on her, and by extension very hard for me to end our relationship. Her doctor has strictly recommended she follows a strict diet that means no sugar, no high-calorie foods, such as Alfredo sauce, pizza, and the likes. Naturally, she's been very, very upset because she has cravings, but there's no way she can indulge. She's gotten sick of the alternatives suggested to her and would start sobbing sometimes when we go outside because she will see all these food places only to realize she cannot eat what she wants. I feel for her. I really do. Our relationship started to break down when a little when she started taking her anger out on me. My offense? Ordering these things I like to eat, such as cookies, cheese, frozen snacks. We get groceries delivered to us. B2, by the way. Just like any other person does. She was extremely mad at me for being able to enjoy eating these things and made me feel guilty for eating stuff she craves. My breaking point was once she angry cried over the fact that I brought home a box of donuts I received from office on my birthday. I was sick of her behavior and the constant policing of my food intake in our home that I, in no uncertain terms, made it very clear that she cannot punish me for a health problem she has.
Oh boy.
And that this is my house too, and I will eat and drink whatever and whenever I please. We had a bad argument that day and I uttered divorce. that seemed to shake us both, and we did a few sessions of marital counseling. To keep it short, our therapist held her accountable and shared that it was unfair to me to be at the receiving end of her emotional distress. However, she also emphasized that my wife is probably feeling unsupported too, and I could try to be a bit more discreet and stick to making healthier meals together, which would be great for both of us. Since my wife cannot, quote-unquote, make up for excess blood sugar she has by working out a lot. She is chubby and has bad knees. I can see why she feels helpless. She feels helpless. Right, Clara?
What?
Helpless. It's a song from Hamilton.
Helpless.
Yes.
I do.
Exactly.
Keep going.
That's not helpless. Is that helpless? I thought that was the Winter Ball.
No, that's helpless.
Oh.
'Cause I'm helpless.
Because helpless is about... No, that's...
Helpless is Eliza falling in love with Hamilton.
Okay, I was thinking of satisfied.
You're thinking of satisfied
is
you will never be satisfied.
Is Angela...
That's Angelica giving a toast and reliving the past.
You're right.
Which coincides with helpless.
Yeah. As a solution, we decided to stock up on the quote-unquote forbidden foods in the second fridge we have in the drawing room of our home that we use to store drinks and quote-unquote guest snacks for. It's better when reminders of the things she craves but can't eat are not there in the common fridge. This also means I can almost never order takeout at home and sometimes miss doing that while watching Netflix. I still miss craving the occasional pasta dish at the Cheesecake Factory or McDonald's, so sometimes when I drive home from work, I eat in my car, keeping the therapist quote-unquote reminder triggers in mind. Because I know that my wife, knowing that I ate stuff she can't, will make her mad. Yesterday, though, I took my wife on a long drive and she found a receipt for the Cheesecake Factory on the floor. At the moment she found it, she started sobbing and wouldn't talk to me. She is now peeved at me and feels like I betrayed her. I think she is overreacting, but I don't think I'm wrong, since 80% of the meals I have in the week are with her. I try to have takeouts without her on Fridays mostly. I do not think I am the butthole because wife and I have an agreement that I will be discreet, and when I want to indulge in food, I want to eat, so she does not get triggered every time.
Why are you suddenly talking like
That's
that?
exactly how he's writing it.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
What do I think? I don't know about this one. What do you think?
I don't think it's cool that he's like straight up eating and stuff.
I mean, like, if it's like in front of her, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Oh, this is a good cheeseburger. And he gives her like the double middle fingers while he's like chowing down. Oh, I can feel my cholesterol rising. Like, oh, my arteries are just clogging up. And that's basically what he's doing. Though I think the big issue here is how much contempt he has for his wife.
That's the issue.
Because he's like saying his wife is like this. My wife is like holding me down because of her issues.
Your medical issue is the problem.
And I can't eat my Big Macs, and I can't go to the Cheesecake Factory and not order cheesecake and eat like pasta or whatever. And I can't eat my Whoppers and my Baconators and that kind of thing. So I think he is the butthole.
Does it hurt so much? Does it hurt you so badly to support your wife during this trying time of pregnancy?
Oh yeah, and she is pregnant. And so, yeah, dude, like I think you're kind of the butthole by at least not being a team player and first like snapping at her.
Being very mad about her medical condition.
Yeah, and then being all like, she found my Cheesecake Factory. How dare she? And then after that, he's like, I don't think I'm the butthole because wife and I. He's like, that's so I don't know. He's going full caveman mode. We have an update.
Okay.
There is still resentment I have for her for ruining my birthday. Basically, the gift I got from my wife that day was her yelling at me and me uttering divorce. And ending the night in tears. I still hate her for it.
Wow.
For creating a bad memory. I likely won't be able to erase, but I'm working on it. I feel the same way. I feel the same way too when I read what I wrote. I do not want to hate her, but I do. I still cry thinking about how we fight for something seemingly innocent, and I feel so wronged, and that nobody sees that this was unfair and borderline abusive for me.
What?
To be at the receiving end of this as a spouse, because I happen to be a husband in this dynamic.
Huh?
I'm not sure about therapy for this, but I grew up poor, and food insecurity was a big part of my childhood. It makes me feel pretty poopy that now I have means to provide for myself. I still cannot do what I want, but no one sees my trauma, and why I want to be able to make my own decisions too. And even if I didn't have this trauma, I shouldn't need a reason to act with autonomy as long as I am supportive of her and being considerate about our food issues.
Are you being considerate, though?
I don't think he is. Which I positively have acknowledged in therapy with her, and I'm doing my part even though I and our therapist agree that her initial demands were ridiculous. Ha ha ha. So I was made to feel like a horrible person for simply bringing a box of donuts from my coworkers got me for my birthday when there was no malice involved. No bad intentions, no desire to rub it in her face or whatever the rest of the world calls it. I regretted being a married man that day, and I wish I never met her.
Wow.
I've never let anyone bring my self-esteem down the way she did. I have never given anyone the power to hurt me like she did,
wow.
And I want to take it away.
Okay, divorce her then.
No one has ever made me feel like a criminal for eating a donut and sorry.
I think you should divorce.
You think you
if
actually
that's
should
what
divorce?
Your thoughts are. If your genuine thoughts are, I hate her because of this, yeah.
For this one thing? That's not good.
It sounds like, obviously you went to couples therapy for it, but it sounds like the issue is still there.
And I think it's mostly on him. He thinks he's the victim here.
Yes.
Even though he's clearly not.
Not really.
Okay, let's see what the people on Reddit have to say. Are you the butthole for occasionally eating fast food away from home that your wife doesn't know about? No. AITA, for literally every single other thing you wrote in this post, like, what do you mean you still hate her? You still hate her.
It's not an issue from away from your house.
Mm-hmm.
To indulge in this food that your wife cannot have. That's not an issue. Plenty of people do that. The issue is the absolute malice that you're showing towards her because of this. Right? Continue.
It looks like he genuinely hates her.
Right?
Though.
That's the thing. Is the way that he is writing, it sounds like he genuinely hates her.
I find it funny she called her chubby, but from what he says, I bet he is too from all the junk he eats. It's really cool. And another person says, I still hate her for it, quote, Lord, I hope you all divorce before you F up that eventual kid's perception of what a relationship should look like. She has gestational diabetes. She has food restrictions you contributed to, babes. She didn't eat herself into the issue. It came from with growing your child. And you're mad because after watching you sacrifice nothing, she got bad? Geez, if you can't go without Cheesecake Factory or McDonald's for a couple of months, evaluate your own issues.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Cheesecake Factory as much as the other guy, but I wouldn't let that destroy my marriage.
Absolutely not. I get that food insecurity is definitely a thing and an issue that a lot of people who grow up poor have. But, don't let food be the reason you divorce your wife. Don't let it be the reason you hate your wife just because she's asking you to maybe not have fast food while she cannot have it.
Right.
You know? I don't know.
Okay, so let's move on to the rest one. He is the butthole, though.
He is the butthole for many things that he said in that post.
Mm-hmm. We need to stop demonizing incels.
What
As
the?
it is only pushing them towards bitterness and hate.
Oh my gosh. Okay, is this a real post or is this a troll post?
I don't know, that sounds pretty trolly. incels have become only one of the most physically acceptable.
No, just read it normally. Read it normally. They're not going to hear what you're saying. Read it normally.
Like strokes his neck beard.
Just read it normally.
Ooh, let me put on my trench coat and my katana and my fedora.
Use your normal voice.
Okay. The term incel is now used interchangeably with misogynist and whenever a male posts something slightly controversial. The term gets them thrown at them as a byword for a loser. It's not connected to anything.
I know.
But incels are not necessarily women haters by default. If you are a young man who is ugly, fat, or sexually appalling for whatever reason, life is hard. I say this with some experience. I was fat, baby-faced young man who didn't bloom until my mid-20s. I'm happy to say that I'm now a reasonably attractive and successful man who has dated a number of wonderful women, but this has not always been the case. I have never hated women. If anything, I used to put them on a pedestal. I saw them as these amazing, unattainable, exotic creatures.
Okay, interesting wording.
And that is because I had no experience with them. It wasn't until I was able to lose my virginity and actually spend time with them until I realized they're just regular human beings, okay?
Correct.
With same hopes, dreams, flaws, and self-doubts that I have.
Accurate.
Okay, at least he got there. No young man wants to be involuntarily celibate by choice. We all want to love, have sex, and validation, but not in that order.
Uh-huh.
And when you can't get any of those things through no choice or fault of your own, it really stings. It can make you bitter. It can make you resent the group who are rejecting you. Especially as it feels like the rest of the world is getting love and sex and validation, but not necessarily in that order.
Uh-huh.
Even though it might not necessarily be the case. And by demonizing incels, by ridiculing them and laughing off their struggles, that's when we push them towards dangerous and damaging opinions, such as those espoused by people like Mr. Andrew Tate.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a few people who are actually addressing incels' problems. There are so few people who actually talking to them and their issues. What do we expect? We can't ignore a group's problems, and then demonize them for listening to only people who can and who don't ignore them. I don't know what the solution is, but I do know that throwing incel around is an insult and ridiculing a group of people because they're too unattractive to get a girlfriend is cruel, counterproductive, and only pushes young men towards hate and bitterness. What do you think?
I mean, there's certainly true statements within that. Very true that the reason why people like Andrew Tate and some of those like podcasters are so effective is because nobody else is addressing this sort of demographic, right?
Right.
So it's much easier for them to ignore the people who are ignoring them or ridiculing them and gravitating towards the people who are addressing them and saying, you can be better, and filling their heads with all of these terrible ideas.
Right. So, people like Andrew Tate, they definitely prey on these types of people.
Absolutely.
And they say, they give them something to blame. Like, it's not you.
It's not you. It's these people. It's women.
It's women's are the issue.
Somebody else.
Or maybe it is you, but you're just not making enough money.
Yeah, you're not making enough money. You're not working out enough.
Yeah.
And then once you do all of that thing, then the women are going to come crawling, or...
Yeah.
And then you can be like, oh, I'm too good for you now, woman.
Yeah, there's also people who are like, if you want, you get these women, they speak womenese or whatever.
Whatever that means.
And, like, you gotta neg them. You gotta make them...
You gotta make them...
Insult them. And they'll
come back to you.
And that kind of, like...
And trap them in abusive relationships.
Yeah, and, like... It's like, I see where this guy is coming from,
mm-hmm.
but I think that people who are acting in this way, I don't think they should be, like, applauded or or
no, definitely not. I mean,
be like, you're a lost lamb.
It's the issue of someone dealing with trauma and, you know, like, what's the word? How to say this? It's like, say like, and this is just an example. I'm not calling them evil or villains, but it's like a villain, right? I know. I
thought you were going to say somebody specific, but you're just saying villains in general.
No. I'm saying villains in general. A lot of villains in stories have, you know, reasons for being villainous. They had really bad childhoods. They have severe trauma.
They believe that they're the hero of their story.
They believe that the world needs to change to what they see it as, or something like that. Yeah. But because of all of that, that does not justify their actions. You know, everybody deals with trauma in a different way. Some people turn to bad ideas and they don't escape their trauma. Some people internalize the trauma and try to just live their lives normally. Some people address the trauma and, you know, try to fix it. It's all different. But you can't blame your trauma when you do bad things. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, it's because of this, and that's why I'm like this now. And while that is true, could be true, it's not a justifiable reason for doing something bad.
Like, if you're like, oh, I never had a girlfriend in high school, and all these girls are like mean to me in high school, which girls can be very mean in high school.
That's true, they can.
And I've like many people who women are mean to are very respectful and nice, and they eventually are late bloomers, and they eventually marry and they have kids of their own.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that that they'll turn into what is known as like an incel as we know them.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like a thing like women just being mean, like, or like girls being mean to their classmates, because like that automatically makes them an incel. What I'm trying to say is that being an incel is a choice.
Yes.
It doesn't make, like, you're not forced into being an incel. No. Despite the word involuntary being a part of the name.
Yeah.
Being an incel as we know it, as we know what an incel to be, is definitely you choose to be upset and angry about it, and choose to like really despise women for it.
How are you going to stop being an incel if you despise women? And, you know, because what is it? It's involuntarily celibate, right?
Right.
How are you going to fix that if you start to hate women?
Right.
I'm confused about that. That always confused me.
Me too. Like, I guess it's kind of like a never-ending cycle. If you do that, you're basically done, and you're just stuck there until you make a significant life change.
There are bad people. There's bad girls, bad women, bad men. When you're growing up, it's hard, right? We're all trying to figure out how to be people. And sometimes in middle school, in high school, girls are mean. Men, boys, they're mean because they don't know how to be yet. And that's not saying like, I'm not like justifying like, oh, you know, you can forgive them because they didn't know any better. But like when you get older, it's like you change, you grow. Some people don't, you know, some people stay mean, but not everybody, and not everybody is the same. So when you're older, and if you go out and you like try, like actually try, like be confident. Easier said than done, I know that. But like if you like clean yourself up, go out, be yourself, or like, just try, actively. You could find somebody who would be really interested in you.
There's a pot for every kettle.
Exactly.
What do you think about alpha podcasts?
Is that one of those Alan Tate podcast things?
Kind of. They basically, there's this one podcast called the Whatever podcast, and all they do is really they just bring in like women to just be mean to
them.
Yeah, and they just be like, hey, what do you think about can women can't be abused, right? And then they'll be like, yeah, they can, and then they'll be like, liar, and then it's basically kind of like that.
That's ridiculous.
And then they'll kick them off the store if they get too big for their britches and dare talk back to me, the man, not me, but the host.
Sometimes I really feel like we're just going backwards in terms of society.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who are like, oh, I miss those
good old days.
Back when we had trad wives.
All right,
and
then,
stuff.
Sir, go off and work your 15 hours.
15 hours?
Yeah.
A day?
A day. I don't know how long they worked back in the day, but go off, work at your dead-end job, provide for the family.
I mean, back then, you could probably provide for the family for like one income without a college degree.
Right, but this is not those times anymore.
Well, yeah,
Things are so much more complicated. Anyways, we have discussed this ourselves quite a bit. What does Reddit have to say?
Okay, let's see what Reddit have to say. Oh gosh, I'm skipping that one. It's too long. Oh gosh, that's way too long. Oh geez, why is everyone writing essays?
Everybody's writing paragraphs in response to this.
Okay, anyway, let's start from the beginning. Okay, incels are the geeks of the 2020s. But with internet-charged hate, nobody demonizes incels until they start spewing hateful or misogynistic views. And then he quotes the bit about no young man wants to be involuntary celibate by choice, yada yada yada. This bit right here is where the internet and red pill culture has become toxic. Mm-hmm. I'm 32 from the UK, and when I was 18, I was regularly getting palmed off by girls in clubs. Guys back then didn't, on the whole, start getting bitter and resentful towards women. Where are you going?
I'm right here.
Oh, jeez. Towards women, you just dust off and get back out there. Pretty soon you realize a mixture of maturity, dress sense, and good attitude will do you wonders. And that's the part of growing up. The guys who are 18 today are cruising Reddit, YouTube, social media, etc., and drawn towards these stupid podcasts that make them believe women only want a guy who earns $100,000, will cheat on them all the time, and spout nonsense like quote-unquote ho-flation. That garbage is not healthy and rightfully deserves the demonization that it gets. The issue is that people today do not have the mental fortitude to frame their own opinions. They just get herded like sheep and follow the quote-unquote alpha males who just want them for clicks and subscriptions. You end up with immature guys going out into the world with awful views about women and relationships who then get outraged when real-life women don't act the way they've been told they do. Mm-hmm. 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 So that goes again about these people who are preying off of these men who are sad and they're lonely and they just want to be loved, and these guys are going to be like, I have the key.
I have the answer. The problem is that they don't have the answer.
Well, they're definitely just like grifters.
They're grifters. They're using you for your money.
They're like, you want to know, the girls only like you if you make 6 figures.
Take my 50-course plan. Join my pyramid scheme.
Right. And like girls, like not all girls want guys who make 6 figures. No. They don't want guys who drive Ferraris
or Lamborghinis. They don't want, not every girl wants a guy with a 6-pack.
Or like a 6-pack, yeah. Or like a V-cut.
Or, yeah.
And like...
That is not what all girls are looking for.
Right. and these guys are just basically taking advantage of these
Yeah.
men. So I kind of don't want to blame these men for being led astray, but I do kind of want to. They do share a bit of the blame for even falling into that trap. But then again, these guys are very manipulative.
The thing is that anybody could fall for something like this. And it's true. Anybody. Even a really smart person. It's happened before. You see it all the time.
Yeah. That's why I don't say, like, that's why when I watch, like, things about cults and things, I don't want to be like, I would never fall
I
for
would
that.
never fall.
Because
Because
like,
you could.
Because people are, like, they're very smart people
They're
who
smart.
fall for cults.
Absolutely.
Or get involved in cults.
Very intelligent people.
So, yeah. Next person. I was fat, acne-ridden, unattractive, socially awkward, unlikable, autistic girl growing up, and I can massively empathize with boys and men going through similar things. I didn't have my first kiss, or even believe that anyone could like me or want me until my 20s. The world is cruel and judgmental and awful to people like us, and honestly, while there are many subtitles related to gender, I don't think that it's different from men and women in this respect. The thing is, though, that there's a huge difference between people being cruel to you and people simply not giving you sex or romantic companionship. They're not even on the same planet. You say incels are people not getting love and sex and validation, but those are three very different things. You're definitely valid in your right to exist as a person, but maybe even some abstract notion of being beloved as a person, but that's only different to the specific desire to be intimately loved in a sexual manner. The former is a basic part of our humanity, and the second is just something we'd like to have. We're entitled to the first, but not the second. This whole problem with inceldom, it conflates with the things people in general need to be happy and content with people to be specific things we want. Specifically, the things men want from women. Not finding romance does stink if that's something you want, but it's not the same as being mocked or ostracized. It's not even a struggle inflicted on us by a cruel world, and there's no group that's rejecting you. It's simply failing to achieve something in the same way nearly all of us fail to run a marathon or start a business or write a novel. We can talk about prejudice and fat phobia and superficially and ableism and all the things that make life crud for non-conventionally attractive people, and perhaps doing so would make it easier for us, such people, to date, and not getting dates in itself isn't valid struggle or address en masse, because getting dates from other people simply isn't something anyone is entitled to in the first place. Okay, so is he the butthole?
I don't think that this really constitutes as butthole, not butthole.
Okay.
This seems just like he's making a statement.
Yeah. These groups, like, this is other separate group of comments of Reddit that are kind of a lot meaner than the other ones.
Yeah.
Like this one is like, it took sex for him to realize that 50% of the human population are people. He needed to get his wiener wet and ejaculate inside of a JJ to realize that.
Whoa.
I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, that's a bit mean. The thing is, you're only an incel if you identify as such, and those who do feel like state-mandated R-word is the solution to the problem of women having standards. Nobody is calling someone an incel because he's a virgin. They call him an incel because he is a misogynistic poss. Okay, I think that's being a little bit mean.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. I don't want to indulge in anything too mean.
Okay, AITA for letting someone skip my bachelorette party and not telling them new details that would have changed their mind.
Huh?
Okay. Apologies in advance, as I have had a hard time writing my situation in a single sentence. My brother has been trying to push me to get closer to his girlfriend, Mary, they've been together for only 3 months.
30? 3?
3 months.
Okay.
I've done my best to get to know her, initiating dinners, trying hobbies with her, etc., but we honestly don't really get along. I personally think she's a snob. She complimented my designer bag, but took the compliment back when she found out that it was thrifted. As in, literally said, "Yike, I take that back." Okay.
Wow.
While she thinks I lack quote-unquote culture and sophistication. Also something she's mentioned when trying to convince me to do a quote-unquote makeover with her. The issue is that I'm getting married this year, and my brother has been really trying to get her involved. I put my foot down with the bridal party. Since they've been dating for 3 months, I don't know her, but he insisted that I invite her to the bachelorette. It was originally supposed to be super low-key and local. Mary tried to push for something more extravagant, but it really wasn't in my budget. When I wouldn't budge, she told us something came up that weekend and she couldn't go. Right. I was later surprised by my friends who had come together to organize a lavish weekend with favors and points. I.e., one of my friend's aunts works for a spa, so she was able to get a discounted packages. Another used her travel points to book a suite. I was not told about this and was truly and happily surprised. The issue is that Mary found out, and when we posted pictures, that she was peeved. My brother is now saying I deliberately left her out.
What?
But she told me she was busy. Mary said that if she had known what the weekend was like, though, she would have rearranged her schedule. I feel conflicted because I suspect that my friends didn't tell Mary on purpose, but they're claiming they made these plans after Mary bowed out, and I didn't reach back out since she was busy. My brother still says I should have double-checked and made more of an effort to let Mary know my plans. I think he means plans. So I figured I'd ask the internet for my thoughts. What do you think?
Not the butthole. Ooh. You didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah, she didn't know. No, it was a surprise.
It was a surprise.
And listen, it's your bachelorette party. You can invite who you want. And I think Mary is feeding your brother a load of crock.
Probably.
I think she's feeding, not telling her the full story or the right story. And also, she said she couldn't make it, which I think is an excuse.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Because it wasn't up to her standards. And you can't get mad if you're saying like, oh, I can't make it because I need to wash my floor. I need to eat.
You went on a spa trip and you didn't tell me?
Yeah, you can't be mad for that. So
yeah.
Definitely not the butthole here.
Not the butthole.
Nata! Your brother needs to back off. You don't need to be his snooty girlfriend's bestie. You extended an invitation to your bachelorette. She declined in the invitation, feigning she had other plans. Your friends surprised you with a spa weekend. Now, this solution falls into the category of not your problem if Miss Snooty Patootie's schedule was too busy for a Dave and Buster's. She's still too busy for a spa weekend. Your brother is delusional if he thinks this girlfriend matters to anyone but him. Nata! Where does Mary get off? Claiming that you deliberately left her out after she told you she was busy? If she's busy and wouldn't be able to attend. If she really wasn't busy, she lied. Either way, hasn't got a leg to stand on here. Yep. She is a snob, which proved when she complimented your handbag and took it back when she found out it came secondhand. It's the same bag, Mary. The same bag.
The same bag!
The woman has her priorities wrong. You can only hope your brother wakes up to her nonsense soon and leaves her behind. Nata! It sounds like your brother forced an invite. And she felt this was beneath her and quote-unquote had plans. When she found out it was really cool and then she was peeved, I just reply, she said she had plans and I accepted that. It is not your job to chase his girlfriend for a friendship that neither of you seem to be willing to have.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Not the butthole.
Not
and
the
maybe
butthole.
your brother should maybe find somebody else. AITA for not letting my 6'6" brother have a free first-class upgrade to an airline gave me on our 12-hour flight. So, her 6'6" brother who's like playing center for the Knicks over here. So, hello, AITA. Just like writing it like an email. I hope this email finds you well. We are at the beginning of my dad's retirement family trip. He is paying for all of us to meet as a family in Hawaii, for a week, since he's retiring after working at the same company for 42 years. There are 6 of us, but my brother and I live in the same part of the country. I guess it's irrelevant to say I'm 5'1" and my brother is 6'6". I fly all the time for work and have quite a bit of status with the airline for which my dad bought our tickets. This is what happened earlier today. We were all boarded and ready to go when a flight attendant came up to me and whispered that they had a first-class passenger not show up and they needed the coach seat to accommodate a standby passenger. She said I had by far the most status of anyone on the plane, so they were willing to move me to first class for free. I was like, oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then, don't say that. And I took it on a heartbeat. I told my brother I'd see him in 12 hours and let me know if he wanted any food or drink. I grabbed my stuff and moved. Needless to say, we had a nice flight. Once we landed, we were waiting for our shuttle. My brother was so peeved that he wouldn't tell me what was going on. He didn't speak to me the whole shuttle ride. We had a nice hello with the rest of the family, but after I got down from my shower, my mom took me aside and said what I did, quote unquote, was awful.
What?
I asked her what she was talking about, and she said that I could have given my brother the seat. I thought it would be the end of it, but all 5 of my siblings and my parents were upset with me, and the vacation is off to a very rough start.
Oh, man.
I was trying to play with my niece and nephew in the lobby waiting for lunch, and my sister said, no, they only like to play with people who give a poop about their family.
What the?
What were you thinking? I asked her if this was about the first class thing, and she said, what do you think it's about? I said...
Just say what the issue is.
I said that he never asked me to switch with him, and she said, a butthole makes people beg. Family members don't. I've been by myself since brunch and not having much fun. AITA.
Wow.
Clara, would you leave me for a first class seat?
Yes.
And then I'll be very mad, and I will turn the entire family against you.
Would you not leave me for a first class seat?
I would, but you cannot.
Absolutely.
You cannot.
Are you kidding me? That's awesome. First class?
Yes, it is true. I will go to first class, but you cannot be mad at me for it or turn my family against me.
I'm going to be mad about it and turn the family against you.
No! What do you think, Clara? Is she the butthole?
What do I think? I mean, no. I don't think so. Like, I get the issue of being like, hey, you should be thinking about your brother instead of yourself. But, like, she earned that first class seat.
I think
by having that status.
I think because I'm trying to ponder the fact why she threw in the height thing in there.
Right?
Because
is it because it would have been nicer for him to be in first class because of his height?
I think because it will give him more leg room.
More leg room.
I think, but I mean, I think they're taking this way too seriously.
Way too seriously.
Especially when they're like, no, you cannot play with your niece and nephew. Because they only like people.
You are a butthole and you don't think about your family.
Yeah, that's a bit much. I think it's a bit too much.
Dang.
I don't think.
And they've been leaving her alone the whole time, all because of this.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a bit much. I don't think it's justified.
I don't think it's justified at all. What does the comment say?
Okay, had something happen to me a few years ago in Air Canada, Vancouver to Toronto red eye. Flying with adult daughter, got tagged for an upgrade. I asked about letting her fly up front instead and was told the seat is only available to the status holder. She was exhausted from a week working away, so I took it. No one shamed me for it. Nata, your brother was getting a free vacation and getting jealous of your status was rude and ill-informed. Too many people think life is road warrior is all peaches and cream. It isn't. Okay, so it looks like, according to this person, the airline wouldn't have let him have it anyway. Because he said it's only available to the status holder.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Right. Nata, you earned the points. Also, how old is everyone? Everyone I know who is over 6 foot usually asks if they can pick their seat or ask if they can pay the person buying the seat an extra amount to get the legroom. Edit. Most airlines have a list of members on their statuses. They go down the list and offer it, so I don't think they would have just give it to your brother. They might make him pay for it. More likely, just keep going down the list. Anyone a flight attendant here? What y'all usually do? And I don't think no flight attendant ever responded.
And no flight attendants responded.
We have an update.
Okay.
Wow, this totally blew up. Thank you for commenting, everyone. I only saw my family for a little but I think you meant a little bit yesterday, but they were still made at me. I think they made mad to varying degrees. I have a really good friend that lives here in the military, so she hung out with, and we met some really fun and cute guys at a dive bar. Ooh.
Nice.
So my vacation will be great no matter what. But reading your comments really gave me the confidence to not give a poop. Or try at least. Thank you.
That's nice. That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Enjoy your vacation.
Yeah, sleep around. See where that gets you.
Oh my gosh.
I am now an incel, Clara.
Stop it.
Have you heard Andrew Tate's latest podcast?
I don't even want to go into this with you. Absolutely not.
But yeah, like, I think her family's taking this way out of proportion. I think her brother is kind of like scorching the earth for no reason.
For no reason. Not really. Not a good one.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, not the butthole.
Not the butthole.
So who do you think is the biggest butthole today?
Ooh, good question.
I say
think
the guy.
It's the guy who
is eating
who hates
food
and hates his diabetic wife. Food.
Who hates his diabetic wife because he can't have the Whoppers.
He can't eat his fast food.
I need my Cheesecake Factory. I need my Olive Gardens. I need to eat my Applebee's and Chili's. I'm talking Outback Steakhouse. I'm talking Wendy's. I'm talking Chick-fil-A.
I need all of that stuff, and I need to divorce my wife because of it.
Yes. So yeah.
Yep.
He's definitely the biggest butthole.
I'd say so.
We had a lot more not buttholes in this one than buttholes. Because I think it was just him. Who was the biggest? Who was the only one who got a butthole? So yeah.
No, there was somebody. No, never mind. There wasn't.
So I've been Nathaniel Avila.
And I have been Clara Avila.
And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of wacky talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.